Hey guys, so today's video is going to be the fourth installment of my beginner's guide to makeup series. Today's video is on bronzing and contouring. I'll have my playlist linked up here and the videos individually linked down below. So far I've done foundation, concealer, and powder. So I want to preface that I am not a certified makeup artist. Everything I know is from YouTube, and I'm going to be giving you guys tips and recommendations of products based on my personal experience and others that I trust on YouTube. I've done a lot of research to bring you guys the most information. Make sure you check down below because I'm going to have an accompanying blog post with pictures of all these bronzer, how much it costs, where you can get it, and I will list of it. It comes in varying colors, so please check down below for that so you can get even more information and see what the products look like. So at this point in our makeup routine, after applying our foundation, concealer, and powder, we have a flawless complexion, but it is one color and it is very flat. So to bring some color and dimension back into our face, that's when we bust out the bronzers and contour powders. So you definitely can use one product to both bronze and contour. I personally use two different products because they are two different tones. So for my very fair skin tone, I like to bronze with a neutral bronzer. If I use anything too warm tone, it will appear orange on me. And I like to contour with a cool tone product. Cool tone bronzers will mimic shadow, which is what you would see if you were to have really defined cheekbones. You would have a shadow here. And unfortunately, I don't have defined cheekbones, which is why I love to contour to give more dimension to my face. So there are three different tones of bronzers. There are warm, neutral, and cool, and there are variation in between all of those. And I know what works best for me. If you are of a medium or deep skin tone, please let me know in a comment down below what tones worked best for you so I can know and everybody else can know. So for me, with my fair skin tone, bronzing with a neutral tone powder and contouring with a cool tone powder works for me. I think that if you were of a medium skin, bronzing with a warm tone powder and contouring with a neutral powder. Contouring with a cool tone powder works really well for me because I'm fair, but if you are a more tan, olive, deep skin, it might look a little ashy, which is not going to be super flattering. So for me, I bronze in the E3 motion, which for me would be my temples, my cheekbones, and my jawline. You see that right here? And I just do that on both sides of my face to bronze and add some color. And by doing this, you are bronzing in the places that the sun would naturally hit you and you would be naturally tan. That way it just looks more natural, but it's still giving color to your face. You can contour in any of those areas to further make those areas stand out, to slim the forehead, the cheekbones, and you know, hide any of that double chin action, as well as slimming the nose. I personally only contour my cheekbones. I should do my forehead because it's huge, but I usually just contour my cheekbones, but that's how I personally choose to do it. And like I said, I use two different tones of bronzer, but generally when you are bronzing, you're going to be using a lighter hand, and when you are contouring, you're going to be using more product, a stiffer brush, and a more concentrated amount to those places that you really want to chisel. And some people use bronzing and contouring interchangeably. I just think of contouring as a more intense bronze. So now I want to go over the benefits and differences in matte bronzers versus shimmery bronzer. So here's an example. This is NYC Sunny and the Rimmel Natural Bronzer and Sundance. This is shimmery and this is matte. A shimmer bronzer is definitely beautiful to use as a blush, but this is also really nice to do the E3 because it will give you some glow. This bronzer does not have any chunky glitter particles, but it does have a really pretty shimmer to it, which, like I said, will draw the light and make you look really glowy. So shimmer bronzers, I think, are especially beautiful in the summertime, but you do not want to use a shimmer bronzer to contour because the areas you're contouring in, which, like I said, for me is my cheekbones, I want that area to recede. So if I use something with shimmer, it's basically light reflecting particles. So if the sun catches right here and I'm wearing a shimmer bronzer, it will make that area stand out, which is the opposite of what we want. We want this area to recede and to give us, you know, more dimension. So if you use a shimmer bronzer, it can have the opposite effect of what you want. So I think a shimmer bronzer is beautiful to bronze the E3, and a matte bronzer is perfect for contouring and really giving dimension to your face. Like I said, I only use a shimmer bronzer in the summertime, but you can definitely use it all year round. I just, this video is not a rules video. It's just, give you some tips and some information about these products, but it's not telling you this is how you have to wear something. This is just, from my personal experience, what I've discovered and what I've heard from others. So then I also wanted to talk about powder versus cream bronzer. Here are two examples. This is Benefit Hoola, and here's the Sonia Kashuk Undetectable Cream Bronzer and Warm Tan. This is a really creamy product. This would be really nice for anybody with dry skin. Also, I know a lot of people tend to use cream products in the summertime because they don't feel as heavy on the skin. So this would be a great product to use for that. Some people like to use cream bronzers underneath of powder bronzers to make them last longer and be a more intense coloring. So now that I've kind of gone over the basics of bronzing and contouring, I want to get into the recommendations. So first I'm going to get into recommendations of some bronzing powders, and let me know your favorites down below, especially if you have some from the drugstore. I definitely tend to prefer high-end bronzer because I have found tones that work for my skin best from high-end. So I would love to know your recommendations, but the one drugstore bronzer that is amazing is the Revlon Photo Ready Bronzed in Chic. Unfortunately, this has just been discontinued, so check your Big Lots and check online. Hopefully it won't be too expensive, but it will be worth the money, I can tell you. This is amazing. This is a matte bronzer, and it has 4 tones to it, which is really wonderful because this will work for a wide variety of skin tones. You can just mix and match to what colors you would prefer. And I like to use these bottom 2 for bronzing and these top 2 for contouring for my skin. But this is an amazing product. I'm so sad this is being discontinued, but this is just a really creamy consistency. It blends really well, and this is just an amazing product. So if you can get your hands on it, I definitely recommend it. Another drugstore bronzer I've heard good things about is the NYX Matte Bronzer. I believe it comes in 3 shades, and of course, like it says in the name, it is a matte bronzer, so it would be wonderful for bronzing. The next bronzer I want to mention is my holy grail, that is Benefit Hoola. Benefit Hoola works for so many skin tones. I hope you can see this. This is a beautiful neutral tone bronzer, which is why it works so great for me. This works for fair to medium tan skin tones because you wouldn't think so because this is a light bronzer, but it really depends on the brush that you use. It will apply more product and be more pigmented. I will go over bronzing brushes in another video, but this is the one that I would definitely recommend to anybody that is a fair to medium skin tone. Again, this is a really smooth product and it blends beautifully, and this is definitely my holy grail favorite bronzer, and it has lasted me forever, so I definitely recommend this one. The next bronzers I want to recommend are NARS, Laguna, and Casino. You guys have probably heard about these. These do have a slight bit of shimmer, but you really can't notice it, and they've just been raved about so much. Laguna would be great for anybody with light to medium skin tone, and Casino would be great for anybody from medium to dark skin tone, but I've heard so many great things about those bronzers, and I would definitely recommend those. The next bronzer I want to recommend is the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil. This comes in 2 colors, a milk chocolate and a regular chocolate. So the milk chocolate shade would be great for fair skinned girls like myself, and the regular chocolate Soleil would be great for anybody with medium tan skin, or fair skin can definitely wear it too. It would just be a little bit more dramatic. So I've heard great things about those, and they smell like cocoa powder, but that they're just really, again, great textures, blend beautifully. And the last product I want to recommend for bronzing is not an actual bronzer, it's a face powder. If you get a L'Oreal True Match powder, those are really blendable and they're really pigmented. If you are fair skin, I would recommend getting one in a neutral undertone. And if you are medium tan or deep skin tones, I would recommend getting one in a warm undertone because those would just be great for bronzing, and again, they're really pigmented and will blend out beautifully. So in case you are interested in cream bronzing and contouring, I have some recommendations for you. I've only tried 2 products and I like to use them a lot in the summertime. So the first one I have is the e.l.f. Contouring Blush and Bronzer Cream. This bronzer is really beautiful. It's a more of a red tone, so I like that when, so I like using this a lot in the summertime. The red tone I think is really pretty actually, because if you are to get a little bit sunburn in the summer, it is a little bit more red. So it helps this look more natural in my opinion, and this product blends really well. So I definitely recommend this if you're interested in a cream bronzer. Another drugstore version is the Sonia Kashuk Undetectable Cream Bronzer. I have the shade Warm Tan, but it also comes in Rich Bronze, which is a deeper tone. This product is very creamy and it almost sets to a powder finish. This color is a little bit too orange for me, for my fair skin. So I would recommend this more for someone that has light medium or medium. This specific color, I've heard that Rich Bronze is a little bit more cool tone. It is darker, but it is more cool tone as well. So that's another option. So another great option for cream contouring would be to use a concealer crayon or a foundation stick. So I have heard a lot of people on YouTube rave about these type of products for cream contouring, and it sounds really great. I'm definitely going to want to try some of those out because the two that I already showed you, those tones for my skin are better for bronzing, not necessarily contouring. So I'm going to want to try some of these next products I'm going to talk about. I've heard a lot of people talk about the L'Oreal True Match Concealer Crayon to use as a cream contour, and because of the size, it's really easy to get in those precise areas that you want that contour, and of course you'll blend it out afterwards, but that is a great product to use, as well as the Maybelline Fit Me Foundation Stick. I've heard a lot of people talk about this. I don't think there are too many foundation sticks in the drugstore. Again, that would be a great cream contour because if you just use the side, it's easy to get a precise line where you want it, and it will be very blendable. So those are two other recommendations. The last one is a high-end, and this will really probably only work for fair or light tone skins, and that would be the Illamasqua Cream Pigment in Hollow. This is a light taupey tan color. It seems very fair, but I'm sure anybody could use that, but you might want to use a powder over top of it to make it a little bit more intense, but that is a high-end option if you're interested in that. So those are my suggestions for cream contouring. It's definitely something that I just tried for the first time last summer. It seemed pretty cool, but I didn't want to invest in it in case it wasn't something that I was a fan of, because I'm definitely more of a powder person than cream person, but it is a really cool thing to try out. So now onto contour powders. I have 5 recommendations. All of the bronzers that I mentioned I think would be great contour powders, but I don't think that all these contour powders would be good bronzers, and that's just because of the tones. I will talk about that more in a minute. So my holy grail contour powder that I would recommend for anybody with fair skin is the NYX Blush in Taupe. You can see this is a brown shade with a definite gray cool undertone. This would either, on deeper skin, this either would not show up or be a little bit ashy. But I think that this is such a great product, and because it is a blush, it is very pigmented and super blendable. So I love this for my skin tone. I reach for it, especially in the winter time. But yeah, I think this is great, but I really only recommend this for fair or light skin people. Another great cool tone contour powder is theBalm's Bahama Mama. I love this. I reach for this more in the fall. But this is a cool tone, but it is much deeper. But this is a cool tone powder that would work from fair to medium tan skin tone because it is a deep color, but it's showing up a little bit more warm on camera, but on my skin it does show up more cool. But when you compare these beside each other, you can see that this is definitely much more cool, which would work for me. But if you are medium skin, it might look a little ashy. So if you are medium skin looking for a cool tone contour powder, I totally recommend this. I think this blends well if you powder your skin first, but it is just super pigmented and beautiful. And this, I like this as well, and I'm very fair, and I think this would work from fair to medium deep skin tones. Just a varying amount of product, and you might need to blend more if you're lighter, but I recommend both of these for contouring, both cool tone powders that work really well. Another product I want to recommend is actually from a UK brand. This is the Sleek Contour Kit in Light, US residence. You can purchase off their website. Shipping is only like $3 actually, but it just takes a long time to get here. This is the color Light, and this is a warm tone, but it's not too orange. So I like to reach for this more in the summertime, but this would work all year round. I'm actually using it today. It's not too orange. This is super, super pigmented and deep, but it blends out beautifully and it looks very natural. This comes in a light, medium, and dark shade. I totally recommend this, and I think this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful contour powder. And like I said, this is a warm tone, but it still works for me, and I think this would work for any skin tone. And luckily they have a light, medium, and deep, and I know light, medium, and deep skin girls that all have raved about this. So this is a really, really great product, and I definitely recommend this. The next product I want to mention I don't actually have, but that is the MAC Sculpting Powders. They come in 5 different shades, which means there are contour powders for 5 different skin tones, and it just kind of depends on the effect that you want. And they are really sheer but buildable, so it will be very natural looking on the skin. And there are 5 shades. I will have information about that in that blog post so you can hear more about it, but I've heard great things about them, and I definitely want to try them out. I definitely want to get the second shade in the range, but you can customize depending on how deep you want it to be, and they have a variety of undertones as well. And the last thing I want to recommend is, again, the L'Oreal True Match powder. But if you're a fair undertone like me, I would recommend getting a powder that is a cool undertone, and if you are medium tan, I would recommend getting a powder in a neutral undertone to contour. So guys, those are all of my recommendations for bronzer and contour, and a little information about the products as well. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know your favorite bronzers in a comment down below, as well as letting me know what your skin tone is. And if you've tried any of these, let me know your thoughts. And thank you all so much for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.